Hi, my name is Karen Keel. I am here to invite every person and member of our district that receives service, provides service, or is connected to our services to participate in our project for civic participation related to honoring our veterans. Our civic project that we are going to do is related to honoring our veterans. Um, we use the phrase honoring our veterans one day at a time, or one flag at a time. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how that works with our service members and our situation. So, continuing the theme that we had with what if this year, I hear a lot of times when I start this idea, I don't have any veterans. I don't know any veterans. And I'm like, what if we had this conversation? And what if we find out that we have connections? And what if we learn about our families? Um, Sometimes we have the students develop interview questions. And last year, one of the students proposed a question. uh, can I ask the veteran if they've ever killed anyone? And I said, well, let's not talk about the hardest thing on the hardest job, because that's probably not a nice thing to do. And then the question turned into an empathetic question. Um, can I ask if this service member has PTSD? And I said, absolutely. And I got to ask that question. Do you have PTSD based on what you've done of my brother? And for the first time since the beginning of the 90s, my brother did talk to me about his PTSD. So I have done this project, this kind of idea for many, many years, and I learned something from that experience. What if we have a veteran that comes to visit our class that happens to bring MREs and we get to experience what it's like to make meals like our service members do and talk about what those challenges would be and have those experiences and if I would like it and if I wouldn't and those kind of things. What if we learn about our family history and we get to share that? What if we share the meanings of the symbols of some of the literature that we read? What if we have positive interactions in the community that maybe we've not had before? What if um, I get a letter from my nephew who is serving in an area that we've sent a package to, and his commander says that his favorite letter from my students was the one that said, I don't know I have to write this, but my teacher made me write this. And oh, by the way, I'm writing this because she said I had to. And then I hope you have a good day. I hope you stay safe and you come home safe. Um, that letter made that commander's day. What if um, we hand out the roses that are related to our one of our literature connections, and I get to talk to a family member with my students that has a son that's deployed at that time, and she hasn't talked about him, and she gets to talk about him, and we share that experience together. And what if we stumble into an office to hand out these roses of hope and meet a veteran that I didn't know worked for the district, and my class gets to have an impromptu interview and have that experience right in the minute. Um, so the purpose of the project is to develop some understanding about what a veteran is, some basics about making connections with veterans in the community and demonstrating our appreciation for them, about recognizing the impact that the veterans have on all of our lives, even if we don't know how direct they are until we're in the minute, and to participate in some active recognition for our veterans. So, one of the literature connections that we use is America's White Table. We do set the table in the classroom, and many of my students have come back to school after setting this table and said, hey, I went to this restaurant and I saw this table. And I got to teach my family about what the symbols on this table means. Um, this is also known as the book that makes Miss Karen cry, um, because it has a lot of symbolism and a lot of connection to my personal veteran connections. These are some of the other literature connections that we use. That is not a an over encompassing list. But all of these pieces of information add to the understanding of what a veteran is, what their daily life is like, and how they impact us on a regular basis. Some of the things that we've done in the past, we've sent letters to soldiers, we make cards, we send care packages, we've interviewed veterans, we've created slideshows, we've created artwork. All of these things are made with individual veteran connections. Um, some things that could be done by other departments are things like making an obstacle course similar to what someone might do during PT. We could talk about food storage and service. We could explore job opportunities. We could do a statistics lesson, all of the business connections before and after service. That there is very definitely a family education component for dependents. I grew up in that system. um, all of the health and medical service needs and all of the building and equipment maintenance that goes along with the military. I think we can make connections to all of those things. I am happy to help with additional connections if necessary. So, a couple of years ago, we started this major big display about how we are going to honor our veterans. We take big and large branch flags for all of the branches. We plant them out on the drive coming into the ISD. And then we take smaller flags to place alongside them to honor each individual veteran that a staff member, a family member, a student, um, a connection to our school in some way has submitted so that we honor each of those individual veterans. Last year, we honored 336 veterans. I know that there are many more than 336 individuals that work for, are provided service from, and are connected to the ISD. I am certain that we have the ability to honor more veterans than that. I'm going to ask for people to do their best to submit that so that we can take the time to individually plant all of these flags and add to our display out in front of the Talent Center in North Star School. I'm going to ask for a call to action at this point. Um, please have the conversation. Please don't stop at I don't know any veterans. Like I said, I've done this kind of project for many, many years. Every year, I learn about different veteran connections to my own family. Um, have the conversations. Have the conversation in line at the grocery store. You can make a connection, and we can honor all of those veterans. The next thing that we would like to do this year is we would like to have a reverse parade where we invite veterans from our community to come and drive through part of our Mason campus. And in order to make that happen, I'm going to need um, people from different departments, people from different classes, people to be there to cheer on our veterans and recognize them and have them um, be honored in a special way. Um, I really hope that this idea catches on and that we aren't the only place that has this kind of display and recognition for our veterans. Um, Next year, maybe there's some other flags that fly. And I would like to end with sharing one of the symbols from our America's White Table story. One of the symbols on the table is a red rose for hope. The hope specifically related to the table is that all of our service members come home safely. Hope in this case, I think we need a lot of hope, and it is one day in the year that I'd make a concerted effort to spread as much hope as I possibly can. So I'd like to share with you some of the veteran connections that I have. It's a drop in the bucket, but all of these people are very much part of my foundation, and I'd like to share some hope with you today.